Hello there, welcome to Target Radio's podcast with me, Cookie. Every single week we find different people to speak to, mainly musicians, artists in the unsigned realm of music. And what we do, we have a chat with them, find out a little bit more about them, and obviously explore their music. Now, if you are listening to this on iTunes, please, if you get a chance, give us a 5-star rating if you can. And please make sure you put some comments in there as well. If we're doing something right, that's great. But if we're not doing something as good and you think we could do something better, then please do leave us a message. Let us know. And if you want anything else in the podcast, again, let us know in the comments box. That will be brilliant. Okay, stay tuned then. Today we've got a brilliant artist. Have a listen to this.
God in heaven, please let this show go okay, with no major boobs or goofs, or is it goofs? Please don't let me tread all over the intros of records, or say a naughty word.
Every Monday night.
Every Monday night?
Every Monday night.
Every Monday night.
And every Monday night.
I listen to
Andy.
Sean Cook.
Oh, Sean Cook.
Andy.
We'd like to say that, in our opinion, it is not suitable for children or for those of you who may have a nervous disposition.
Oh, Sean Cook.
Andy. And a very good evening. Yes, I know we're echoey a little bit, but it comes out really nice at the other end, Andy, honestly. It's a Monday. It's the 20th. I know. January's almost gone. Hooray! Yes, we hate January. My apologies for anyone that's born in the month of January. I really do feel sorry for you. And apparently it's a Blue Monday, the worst day, or worst Monday of the whole entire year. I haven't experienced any of that. It's been rather a great day, actually. I've slept for almost 2 hours. I'm getting bored of sleeping, honestly. Apparently, Paul Weller said, there's no drinking when you're dead. There's lots of sleeping, apparently, though. Anyway, with me, as always, we've got the Top, the Walker, or the Andy. Whichever one you want, he's here in the flesh. Hello, Andy, how are you?
Hey, Sean, yeah, I'm good, thanks, mate. You?
Yeah, not bad. You're sounding rather incredibly echoey.
Am I?
Yeah. Never mind. I'm trying to work out why, and I haven't got a clue. Never mind. It's all sounding good. Hopefully you can hear us out there in the radio listening land of the Target Radio land. And a special shout out for everyone on Mods and More this evening. Hello! Got to say hello to them. Go on.
Hello, good evening, guys.
They're all waving. Yes, Aunt Janice is waving. Hello. Hello. Okay. So, on the show this evening, fingers crossed, because we had a hellacious Storm Brendan last week, and it interrupted with our transmission. We got some of Georgia and the Vintage Youth. Actually, it was just Georgia and a bottle of wine. I don't think she really cared. But we've turned it into a podcast, a very short one for this week. So hopefully you've downloaded it and you had a little listen. I know a few of you have, so thank you very much. And you got all the goodie bits in there anyway. We like a goodie bit, don't we?
We do.
We do. Now, Andy, what do we normally start off with? Something old, isn't it? From
The Who.
Yeah, well, I'm going to do something a little different this evening.
Really?
Really? Yeah. Okay, I'm going to play something completely brand new.
Go on then.
Okay, I will. Of course, it's The Who. I mean, who else?
Who?
Okay, and yes, that's off their brand new album called...
Who?
Yeah, The Who.
The Who.
Their brand new album is called...
Who?
Oh, for goodness sake. Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, I've got it now. Yeah, thank you. Right, it's going to get confusing this evening if I keep doing things like that. Now, I was saying to you earlier, Andy, that basically I've got something from The Jam from 1977, but it's a remastered album with some really good John Peel, back in the day when John Peel first discovered The Jam, or The Jam discovered John Peel, whichever way it was. So I've got some brilliant music from them later as well, so we're going to be playing something there. And don't forget, we've got a special guest hopefully this evening, because what was you saying about Phoenix Road?
Phoenix Road, they're actually in the studio this afternoon and early part of the evening, so it's going to be a bit of a rush back for Tom, but Tom's hoping to join us for about 8 o'clock.
Excellent, lovely. And obviously, if all going well, fingers crossed and everything else, and we've got our fox's tails and rabbit's feet and Lucky Charms everywhere. No, you're not supposed to eat them, Andy. Wrong Lucky Charms. Hopefully we'll do an album review of their brand new album as well. So we'll give you more a bit later in the show. Right, OK, let's have some Joe Boxers then. I fancy a bit of Boxer Beat, actually, mate. Yeah, let's stamp our feet. Come on. And hopefully we should have Tom Hinton at the other end, if he answers it. Fingers crossed.
Hi, Sean.
Hello, would that be Mr. Tom Hinton?
It is. How you doing?
Excellent. I think we need one of these. Oh, there he is. Tom Hinton of Phoenix Road. Hello, how are you, sir?
How are you doing? I'm very well, thank you.
Good. That was a fine piece of engineering. I had to friend you first, and then obviously I was able to talk to you. How's that work? My goodness me.
Amazing, isn't it?
Absolutely. Well, you're coming through lovely and
clear.
Where are
you based? You in Guildford way?
We're over in Frimley, near Camberley, but not a million miles away from Weller Country. So, just up the road from PW. And I know he tunes in from time to time, so you can say hello to Paul if you like.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah.
And you can say hello to Mum as well. There you go.
I will.
You got to also say hello to Andy Top-Walker, because he's on the other end of this microphone. Go on, Andy, say hello.
Hi, Andy. How
Evening, Tom. How you doing, bud?
Yeah. I feel like I know you really well, because we've messaged so much, but we've never spoken.
No, we haven't actually spoken directly. No, we haven't. I'm going to get in there first, though. How was your day?
Yeah, good, actually. It's a day off work. I don't really work Mondays, and that's a good day to go up to Norwich to see my good mate Jason. We had like a really good recording session today. He's got a really great setup in a nuclear bunker. It's a Cold War bunker in North Norfolk, and it's set up as a recording studio and a practice room. So it's called The Crunch, which is an awesome place to make music. That's where we recorded our album and where we're working on a new project now.
Wow. That is explosive material going on there.
It's about an hour and a half from where I live in Cambridge. So
of course, yeah.
So that bit of the A11, I think I've renamed it Phoenix Road now.
Well, why not? It'd be rude not to, really, yes. OK, so we're going to find out a little bit about yourself, obviously in Phoenix Road, and how the name came and all of that. Then what I thought we'd do, if that's OK with your good self, obviously I've got the album here, which is absolutely marvellous. I heard it in the in the lorry this morning, played it a couple of times, and I thought, some really good tracks on there, and some real growers on there as well. So obviously what we'd like to do is obviously play about a minute and a half, then find out about each track, how it went down, how you laid it down, a little bit of history behind it. It could be a one-word answer, or it could be a whole paragraph, or War and Peace, whatever way you want to do it.
Yeah,
so
I wrote all the songs, so
that's
I can help you out there.
Well, that's blooming marvellous. That's great. We're on the right road here, Andy. Excellent. So I'm going to hand you back to Andy. So he's going to find out a little bit about you, Phoenix Road, and go on from there. So back to you, Andy.
Okay. So first of all, Tom, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Me, in outside of the band?
Yep.
I've got a kitchen business, so I'm a kitchen man. We've got a manufacturing side, and we've got showrooms around Cambridge, London, St Albans, and I spend most of my time designing and building kitchens for people.
Okay, so how did you get yourself into music?
Music that probably started when I was about 12, when it's like those early days when the chords were around, the jam were out there. I'm talking like early 80s.
Yeah.
And we just like so many kids who like got a guitar and we just jammed around in the bedroom and that sort of thing.
Uh-huh.
And I think I started writing songs then, and I just never really stopped writing songs. I got into a band properly more like in the 90s, because for most of my sort of late teens and early 20s, I was completely into soul music, and nothing. If I wasn't black and American and living in the 1960s, I wasn't going to like the music I made. And then when all the bands sort of came through in the 90s, you know, Oasis, Blur, Supergrass, all that stuff, I thought, hang on a sec, this is something I could do, and I love it, you know, and had that connection to the 60s classic bands that I love as well, you know. And so I formed my first band in the 90s, and that's when I met Jason, who's part of Phoenix Road now. And then, like, I don't know, years went by, working, family, everything, you know, and then it comes back to me now as a hobby, really. It's a hobby I absolutely love, completely passionate about it.
Uh-huh.
And the music we're doing now is better than anything I've done before, you know.
You can feel it with it. You can feel it in your tracks.
Yeah, and it's all kind of a bit pent up, you know, having taken quite such a long sabbatical, you know. so yeah, I'm having a great time with it. Having a great time. Really, really pleased with the Mountaineer and how it all came out.
Excellent.
It's all good, but yeah.
Okay, so how about introducing us to Phoenix Road?
Pardon?
Can you introduce us to Phoenix Road, the rest of the band?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so basically the album's recorded with me and Jason Baldock, who I mentioned before with the studio. So Jason on the recordings, he plays all the drums, and he plays the bass, and did all the production and mastering and everything else. So it's huge part of the sound. And then he got us. He connected me up with Andy Fairclough, who's one of the greatest Hammond organ players in the country. He's plays with From the Jam, with, you know, Bruce Foxton and Russ. Yeah. So he's very, you know, like very busy doing that. But he's heard some of my stuff and said, I love this. He came down and he put down all the keyboard tracks on it, and we made the album, the three of us. And then we thought, hang on a sec, this is like great. How about doing it live? And Andy and Jason were up for it, and I was like, really? Wow, okay. And then I had to recruit more members, and so I got one of my old mates from my 90s band, Simon Bryce. He came in on lead guitar for the live stuff. And then I got a bass player called Ivan, who's a Croatian, and he played bass on stage for us. So that was the 5-piece band for the live work. But in the studio, I think it's really me, Jason, and Andy put the main sort of sound together, you know, for the recording work. So yeah, that's it. We might get some female backing vocals in the next lot of stuff as well, hopefully. So I'll have to keep you posted on that.
What? Talking about backing vocals, we can hear someone in the background there. Who's that?
That'll be here now.
Yeah, right now.
Right now. That's my wife, Messa.
Tell her to be quiet, for goodness sake. We're on the radio.
What can you hear?
I've no idea. We can just hear something.
Can you hear music?
No, we can hear sort of like distant voices.
Oh, right. No, that's not me. That's not them. She's not saying that.
Well, she's doing.
I've got what I think is your radio show on, but maybe it's not.
No,
So
it's definitely.
Are we live now?
We are live now, yes, and no naughty words.
Right.
The wife will kill you, honestly.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. So,
can you breathe more quietly?
Yes, that's it. Breathe quietly. So, Phoenix Road. How did you come by the name of Phoenix Road? It's a powerful name.
It's good, isn't it?
I like it. Yeah.
Since I was 12, I've always struggled to find a name for a band, and then when I got Phoenix Road, I thought, yeah, I love that. It's the first time I've had a band name that I love.
Yeah.
And it's I don't know exactly. I was working around some ideas. I've always liked the idea of phoenixes and that sort of mythical
coming out
mythical
of the fire.
thing,
coming out of the fire,
sort of
reborn,
the magical
yep.
stuff, yeah. And road. well, I spend most of my week on the road, so I've got like a nice connection to that.
I sit down the road and into someone's garage, into someone's kitchen, and redesigning it. Yeah, there we go.
and then I had got the idea that what is Phoenix Road, and it's this idea that there's a connection between all the music that sort of, I suppose, starts off in the 50s with Sam Cooke and people like this, and going through all the 60s stuff. And there's a bit on my Facebook page. It's quite hard to find, but there's like a little description of the journey from America under the Atlantic and up into this country in the sort of 60s London, and then later on into your neck of the woods, dare I say, and Muswell Hill up to Cambridge. It kind of like leads back to where I am. It's kind of like the journey of the music. That's my influences, really. That's kind of one way of describing it, but mostly I just like those two words together.
Yeah, absolutely. And just going through the bio here on Phoenix Road, I love this bit here, because obviously you name a few of many of the favourites that we all love and play here on Target Radio. So you can hear echoes of British legends such as, I'm reading this by the way, as the Small Faces, the Kinks and the Beatles. You can't go far wrong with those three. There's also an edginess of reminiscent of the Jam. Okay, we're all right still. And some early Supergrass as well. So what you're trying to do there, I think, and obviously listening to the album for the first time today and heard it a couple of times, that you've got a sort of 60s blend with a 90s Britpop sort of feel through it, and and it's sort of up to date as well. So how on earth did you manage to do that?
Just how it came out, really. I don't know.
So,
I think
not a mistake as such, but experimental then, you're saying?
Sorry?
Not so much a mistake, but more experimental.
No, I don't think I could have done it any other way. I don't think, I think that's just how it came out naturally. And when we're working on stuff, we're definitely trying to keep a 60s vibe in it.
Yes, so you definitely got that.
We use quite a lot of vintage equipment and that sort of thing. And that's what we aim for, because it isn't the 60s. It's never going to get that. So that's in its DNA, but the reason it's modern because it's recorded now, I suppose.
Absolutely.
I guess that's how it just pans out.
Absolutely, yeah. Now, obviously, I've looked through quite a few bits and pieces. Now, there's some Q&A here, and I love this. Why is it called the Mountaineer? Obviously, I'm going to ask that question because I can see the answer here, but obviously our listeners cannot. So, Tom Hinton, why is it called the Mountaineer, please?
Well, I think the idea of the Mountaineer and the lyric, it's about this idea that you're climbing out of a hole, out of a dark place, and trying to reach and achieve and that's the thing. I suppose it's that's the general idea of it. Climbing, pulling yourself up and climbing. And it's like the lyric is along the lines of I know that it's nothing. How's it going? I should know this. I know that it's only tears and feelings, they disappear. Mm-hmm. I know that, and I'm the Mountaineer, and it's that thing, like you're going to get past it, you're going to climb, you're going to move on, and that's the spirit of the song.
Gotcha.
So I guess that's the meaning of it. Yeah.
Excellent.
Nothing to do with actual climbing, which would involve a lot of effort and danger and
so no rope burns, no chalk, and no scraped elbows. That's good.
No,
perfectly safe like when you made that song.
Not even at the sports centre, really. No.
What do you say to a mountaineer when they look at a mountain? Why are you climbing that mountain? Because it's there. Right. I've never understood that. I've never understood the psychology behind why you climb a mountain, because it's there.
Mallory, on Everest, wasn't it?
Yes.
On Everest, always there. Yeah.
Well, it's there. Well, you could die on it, for goodness sake. Why do you want to climb something that you could die on? I'm much safer just watching you from down here. Much more advisable. Right, okay, so, Andy, you got another question?
Not at the moment.
No, should we do the music then?
I think we'll go into the music.
Okay, so what we're going to do then, we'll go from number 1, and then obviously you can tell us obviously the name of the track, if you can remember them all.
Yeah.
There's 10 on there, so what we'll do, we'll play about a minute and a half of each one, and then we'll ask you just a couple of questions on it, and obviously just give us a sort of, an idea behind it, like a little story. Like I said, it can be a one-word answer, if you like it, if you love it, or, you despise it, or it was a labour of love. So let's try it anyway and see how it goes. So number 1 then, I believe is called Neon Sign. That's it. No, we don't want to play no more than that. They're going to have to buy the album. Just in case they're starting with their tape recorders and things, they might start playing, recording that. So we're not going to let them have any more than that. So that first one then, obviously by your good self there, called Neon Sign. Anything to do with neon signs in London or something there?
Well, it's not exactly a neon sign. I mean...
See, they always do this, don't they? These musicians, I mean, honestly, they put something like neon sign, it's got nothing to do with a sign, or neon, for goodness sake. Go for it, Tom, sorry.
Yeah, well, it's basically like a signal, so this is like it's kind of like the sort of unrequited love thing, so he's the guy in the song, this is like an imaginary song, by the way, it's not an actual thing, but it's he's like waiting to to hear back from this girl, and there's no indication. It's like give me a sign kind of thing, and a neon sign that sets your mind, set you free, that kind of thing. So it's like, let me know, It's like,
see, I would have been quite happy with a post-it note, but there we go.
Well, I think this guy in the song, it needs to be a bit more obvious than that. It has to be like a big neon sign flashing.
Yeah, he was a bit more, bigger and better.
in neon.
Okay, before we play number 2 then, that's great actually. Was that a labour of love to do that one? Because it's a really nice sort of harmony in there, and it's got a great tune through it all. Was it easy for you to do?
That's the first one we recorded. In fact, that song was the song that I was only, when I first got back into this, I was only going to record one song for the fun of it. And
not a very big album then, if you only have one song on it.
Well, it wasn't going to be an album back then. It was just like, we'll have a bit of fun, record a song.
Yeah.
And then enjoyed it so much that one song became 2, and then 2 was 10, and then we had this sort of lofty ideas of making an album, So, that was the first one. That was what got me back into it.
Wow. That is fantastic. Now, this next track then, in brackets, I like to put the brackets in because obviously they're there, we might as well mention them. So, open brackets, I was in your, close brackets, neighbourhood. I had to do that, I'm sorry. So, tell us a little bit about that before we play it.
That's another song, the same kind of thing. It's like, I think a lot of my songs are this sort of like tragic, romantic, dramatic love song. Probably from listening to too much Motown and Northern, I should think. There's that thing that comes from the blues, isn't it? I mean, and they just make great subjects for songs, I think. So it's another love song, really. And it's not it's not stalky, really. It's not a little bit stalky, but, it's like there was a song by Clarence Carter that I had it. I've got it on 12-inch, I think. It's like a sort of 70s modern kind of thing, and it was. I heard it on the radio and bought it on this 12-inch. And it was called "I Was in Your Neighbourhood." No, I was in the neighbourhood. That was it.
Yes.
And that I did slightly rip off the title of that one, I must admit. And
well, you borrowed it,
but it's not. The tune's nothing like the same. And his was more like a Brooke Benton, Rainy Night in Georgia kind of song,
Gotcha.
But I was in this is the one that I think comes out a bit supergrassy, really. I'd like it to be anyway.
Well, let's have a little listen to it and see what we think. And I've already heard this, Andy, and I know you have as well. We'll have another listen. And now we've got that behind the story behind it. It just opens it up a little bit more, doesn't it? So let's have a little listen. And funny enough, what was that song called that you were referring to just before we played that one?
Me?
Yes,
Clarence Carter. I was in the neighbourhood.
Okay, I haven't actually got that one, but I've got this one.
I was born and raised down in Alabama on the farm way back up in the house.
This one's called Patches.
I love that. Yeah, I know.
I just thought I'd throw that one in there. Not on the album, ladies and gentlemen, but, if you're recording it right now, you've got a little bit of Clarence Carter, Patches, along with your good self there on Phoenix Road. So I'm so sorry to disappoint you there, you tape recording fiends. Right, so Always Needed You. Is this another a love song?
Could be anything really. It's this is the idea of like there's that sort of saying, or the blues song, you can't lose what you ain't never had, kind of thing.
Of course.
This sort of idea, but this is like just turning that idea on its head, and it's a sort of an idea that actually I've suddenly realised what's been missing, and but yeah, that could be all sorts of things. But so yeah, it's a bit more ambiguous. It's not quite the obvious sort of Motown soul love story. But yeah.
Okay. Well, let's give it a little nudge then, shall we? Let's have a little listen to this. He just whispered to me, he went, Pink Floyd.
Yeah, well,
There is a little dark side of the moon.
Absolutely,
sort of,
yeah, that's what I got.
I think it's a little guitar, a little guitar bit going on there as well. I think, that's where you're getting it from, aren't you, Andy?
Yeah.
I like that. Very sort of mellow, isn't it?
Yeah, it takes the pace down. The first two tracks are like kind of full on, and then it sort of drops into this sort of different mood.
Absolutely.
That's one of my favourites actually on the album.
It's nice, actually. Yeah, I was driving down the road and I heard that, and I thought straight away when you said Dark Side, well, Pink Floyd, I thought Dark Side of the Moon. I thought, yeah, definitely. Right, okay, speaking it along then, because obviously we've got quite a few tracks to go through. Gotta Find Myself Again. I didn't realise you'd lost yourself, but you can buy these sat-navs and things. So is this about sat-navs, or is it about the road, or where are we on this one?
I think I don't know. I think it's like when you get really sort of deep into work or whatever, and you kind of forget who you are maybe, and you forget your younger self or something like that. It's reconnecting with who you are.
Yeah.
That's
so it's got nothing to do with kitchen fitting or anything like that, then.
Okay. My phone again.
There we go. We don't want to confuse the two things that you do. No, obviously making brilliant music and obviously doing brilliant kitchens as well. Let's have a listen to this one then. Decided very. We're going with sort of like known bands here, Tom, and we're thinking sort of very, very Kinks. Are we right there?
Yeah, maybe. I'd be flattered, but yeah.
Well, flatter yourself.
Definitely there.
It's definitely there. Yeah, we like that one. That's nice. It's just sort of bringing it up a notch from the last one as well. Obviously, if you're going by this sort of like numerical album order, obviously we've had a couple of good pace ones. We've slowed it down, and we're just bringing the tempo up just a tad. So I like that one. It's nice.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm not sure if I'm going to like this next one, because I'm a creature of habit and I do like the old currant bun, but apparently Winter is Calling. Is that right?
Winter is Calling.
It's always winter here. What's wrong with yous? Honestly, it's always cold. I mean, is it cold in Cambridge? What's that all about then?
Well, I think we recorded it in May, so it's a tricky one. But yeah, it's like stuff when it's like. I don't know. Yeah, what's that about? It's quite hard to explain, really. But it's having reached a point you realise you haven't done all the things you thought you could do.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, it's this time already. And it's like too late. It's that kind of idea, really. But yeah, it's fairly abstract, that one actually.
Okay. I do like an abstract song, don't you, Andy? I do like the abstract ones, actually. So let's have a little listen to it. And okay, let's have a go, and let's find out a little bit more about it at the other end.
I love that.
That is nice. It's some really good, clever lyrics there as well.
It is.
I love the sunshine on my face. Yeah, I like it a bit further over, a bit more on my body. But yeah, nice. And the winter nights are drawing in, or the nights are drawing in. Great opener.
Yeah, it's got that sort of atmosphere about it. I'm very, very happy with that one. I like the wine the wine flowing beneath my skin. That's one of my favourite lines.
Or flowing into the skin, yes, via the mouth. So, yeah, I like that one, and it is a little abstract, and obviously we're only hearing parts of this album, because obviously we're not going to play the full album. Not at the moment.
It keeps on stopping before you get to the chorus, but...
I know. Just obviously we're looking at the time, and obviously we want to try and...
get the chorus in quicker.
Well, that's not my fault, it's yours! Get the choruses in quicker then!
I think it was Dave Grohl from Foo Fighters who's... don't bore us, take us to the chorus.
Yes, of course, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, obviously, thinking about that, I mean, I was looking at a song the other day and I thought, what's got a really, really long intro? David Bowie used to do long intros, didn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness me. Over a minute long on some of them.
Yeah, got to set up the show and then hit it, yeah.
Absolutely.
Not everybody's a Beatle.
Yes, yeah. Okay, track number 6 then. How far do we need to go into this to get into the chorus of I Could Never Leave This Town?
Yeah, well, I think when you hear those words, I could never leave this town, then you've done it. Because the chorus is a one line.
I've just said it then. Right, we'll skip that one then. Now, are we talking about Cambridge here, or are we talking just metaphorically?
Maybe it's a bit of Bath, where I grew up when I was younger. And I remember being like a teeny bopper mod in Bath and being chased around by the Bristol skinheads. And
never a good thing. Never a good thing.
There's some flashbacks from there, but it could be anyone's town and anybody's friend. So it's that sort of idea that if you live, I mean, I suppose it's mostly about Cambridge because the idea for it is if you live in one place. And as you get older and going round and round the same streets and the same things, you get all these sort of flashbacks and memories and every little stories, personal stories really, and you kind of trip over your own history, and and the idea is, it's about you walk into the cafes and bars. Names have changed above the door, but we were here before, and it's this sort of idea of the town is always there and. And I think the guy in this song is probably singing about an old mate, or maybe it's a girl, who's not there now, but is somehow still connected.
The memories are still there.
Yeah,
I like that. So
it's got quite a long intro.
That's what I'm fading it in as we speak.
Start fading in because it's got street sounds at the beginning. This one.
I've noticed. Yeah, I was looking round me. I thought, hello, have we moved our studio?
Yeah, if this was vinyl, this would be like side 2.
It's coming in right now, so let's have a good listen to this one. I absolutely love that track, and I'm going to be honest with you, when I heard this the first time this morning, I put it on repeat a couple of times because I actually love the start of it, and I was actually on the road this morning and I thought, hey, what's this? Because it really comes through clear as anything, and I thought, no, hang on. And I had to look around because I was driving at the time, so it was really, really quite spooky at sort of 4 o'clock this morning. Yeah. But as soon as that guitar stab comes in, and obviously then the bass line and everything else, all your back instruments, it was absolutely fantastic. It's great. I love this track, and for me personally, I think this is the best one on the album for me personally. But everyone's got a different view of music. What say you, Andy? You were shaking your head over there.
I was actually almost going to get up and dance there. Well,
I'm pleased you didn't. I've seen you dancing.
You can't dance on the radio, can you?
Well, Andy can, but unfortunately no one else can see it. Only me.
I'm good at
it. So say him. I like that one. That's probably one of my favourites.
To be honest, I thought that sounded very much chords.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's got a bit of life to it, isn't it? Real sort of like, it's got that life to it. It bubbles along quite nicely as well.
Most certainly. I certainly think Chris Pope would love that song.
Well, he can't have it.
No, he can't have it.
No, he can't have it.
He would have loved it.
Yes, he can.
No.
Chris, Thomas said you can have it if you want it.
Yeah. We'll exchange some shekels on that one, definitely. Okay, now, obviously, Chris Pope is invisible, but we're going on to the Invisible Man now. The last time I heard Invisible Man, I think it was done by Queen, wasn't it? Oh, my goodness me. Really? So, yeah, I am the Invisible Man. Right, okay, moving on. The Invisible Man, then, Phoenix Road, yours. Tell us a little bit about Invisible Man.
So when we played this live, we dedicated it to a homeless charity in Cambridge. And it's a story of a homeless man who, as you probably know, people don't look at homeless people, and they could be, people just walk past and avert their eyes, and it's that idea that the guy in the song is lost, disorientated. He might even be a ghost. You don't really know. You have to make up your own mind from the lyrics, but that's what it's about. And we passed a bucket round at our last gig and pulled about 80 quid in, so for this charity, which was good.
That is fantastic. Just give us do you remember the name of the charity off the top of your head?
Cambridge Street Aid or Street Relief.
Okay.
But yeah, Spinal Tap would be proud. Yeah, superb.
Indeed.
Excellent. Well done.
Indeed. Let's have a little listen, shall we? Because I like anything to do with real things. Yep. Okay, I like story songs, but I also like songs about real things. And obviously, homelessness is, is a big issue out there, isn't it? Really.
Well, this is a song that we wanted to, if we ever put it out as a single or something, we'd give all the proceeds to charity. So that was, it's a kind of like potential charity song. So.
Okay, well, let's have a listen and let the listener decide. If you want to hear more of this, and why not, you're going to have to buy it, I'm afraid. Sorry. I'll tell you what, if you do release this one, Tom, I think it is a goer.
It's a winner. It's
definitely a winner. Definitely a winner from our end, anyway.
On the album, that's part of the album, so yeah, it's there. Alley Club Records. So yeah, it's available.
It is. It's available right now. So give us a links while we're talking about that. So where can we buy it?
The CD, the Mountaineer, is available as a CD.
Excellent.
It's on Alley Club Records, and people have been ordering online, through the website. But you can get it from good record shops, as they say, because it's distributed, and it's on Spotify and all that sort of stuff as well. But Invisible Man, that's one of my favourites as well.
That is a good track, actually, and like you say, it's sort of like you're highlighting a real major problem in a lot of our major cities and towns that we have. Obviously, I go into London quite a lot, so I see it awfully a lot because I work at night. So
it's horrendous.
It is horrendous. Honestly, it really is. Every street corner, every shop front, you see sleeping bags. They've even started pitching up tents and things now as well, just to brave the elements. And it saddens me to think that we live in the 21st century now, and I'm not going to get on my soapbox because I'll never get down again. But we're in the 21st century, and we're not by any means a third world country. But why are some of our folk out there living as third world, refugees, if you like, in their own country? It is sad. So, anything Target Radio can do to raise awareness of that, we do what we can. But, yeah, definitely, I think you should release that as a single.
You might be able to team up and do something.
Yeah, why not?
Absolutely.
You can do some open-air gig or something, or I'll be quite happy, giving out soup. I know it's a cliche, but I'll be happy doing that. Yeah. Anything to help. Because, some of these people, some of them do it through choice. Some of them do it through no choice. No.
It's
not down to us to decipher which one is which, because obviously we couldn't do that. Right, let's move along because obviously we don't want to go down, we want to go up, and we're going up in the numbers now, and it does not matter now. So give us a little insight into this.
I think we're back in love song territory, and it's just a nice, a nice sort of sad love song breakup. It's a breakup song, yeah. Give it a whirl.
Why not? Why not? We love a good sob story. I'll tell you what, it's entertaining at least, isn't it? As long as it's not happening to you. I'm so sorry for those that have just broken up with their partners. I think we're there, Andy.
I think we are.
I think we're there. I like that. That's got That's got a cheerful beat to something that's not as cheerful as it should be, really.
Yeah, you made it to the chorus. That's amazing.
Well, we do try here at Target Radio, you know what I mean? I'm liking Tom. He's sarcastic as much as we are, Andy. Now, you like to try and compare it to musicians that you know and love, don't you, Andy?
I do, yeah.
Go on, who do you think?
I thought that was Secret Affair.
Yeah, actually, I weren't thinking that one. I was thinking more along the lines of sort of The Truth or somewhere on that sort of level. But yeah,
Same playing field.
Yeah, it was same playing field, different team. Right, okay, like that, nice. It amazes me, right? A lot of musicians use sort of sadness as a way of writing songs. Do you find being sad, Tom, in your state of mind when you're sad, that you write better, or are you more of a sort of...
I'm actually, I'm not happier than I might appear to be with my music, but I think, I just think the best songs are sad. It's really hard to write a good, happy song, I think,
Yeah.
I mean, there's not, I think, I was just thinking, actually, today, all my favourite songs, all the music I like, if you sort of like said to me, oh, what's your favourite Weller song or something, I'd probably say something like All the Pictures on the Wall, I like that sort of emotion, and that's I guess, yeah, I've got quite a few happy, they always end up being a bit comedic, my happy songs, and then usually don't really want to bother recording that, so, but I think you can have a happy melody, and this is like, this sort of comes from the 60s sort of soul kind of thing. A lot of that stuff was really upbeat and uplifting music, but actually the lyrics were all about heartbreak and loneliness and whatnot,
Yeah.
And so yeah, I think you can tell a sad story, but with a happy melody.
Well, yeah, absolutely, yeah. I mean, the lyrics are important, but the music is as important, I think, as well. And if you can marry the two together, to have a happy tune with very sad lyrics, it sort of works. It shouldn't, but it does.
Yeah, I think that's the best combination.
Absolutely.
The next track is Goddess. That's a very blissed out love song. It's a happy one, Scott. So that's it's almost happy anyway. It should be.
Well, you wrote it. You should know. So
this one is a true story, and I dedicate it to Mess and my wife.
Ah, there she is. There she is. Have you noticed now she's being quiet in the background? She's listening now. Now he's dedicated a song to her.
There's a delay on the iPad and what I'm saying, so we can't be together right now,
Oh,
there we go.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to play, it's 3 minutes and 47 seconds of this song. Now, we've just discussed sort of like, well, we usually finish at 9 o'clock, but we're going to go over a little bit. Well, we have already. No, it's okay.
My fault for coming in late.
No, that's fine. I own the radio station, so I can do what the heck I like. And this is good stuff, and I'm sure all of our lovely listeners are sticking with us, and so we apologise. If you've got somewhere to be at 9 o'clock, tough, you're late. And you're going to have to stay with us now, because we've got 2 more brilliant tracks, and we're going to play this one now, and it's dedication to Tom's wife. So I think it's only fitting that we play at least 2 minutes of this one, don't you think?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, great, because I need to cough.
You'll hit the chorus.
Oh, well, let's hope so. Well, that's it. Andy's crying over here.
That's beautiful.
I know.
Isn't that lovely? I love that guitaring in there. That is absolutely wonderful, Tom. And I take it that's down to yourself?
I'm glad you like it. Yeah. That is actually,
That is a lovely, lovely tune. That is really nice.
You've got the nice swishy strings going on, which is lovely.
Yes, absolutely. I love that one. I'll tell you what, I'm actually going to change my mind a little bit now, because I think if you're feeling a little, well, not sad, but if you're feeling a little low, I think that song sort of gets you, it picks you up a little bit as well. It does lift you a little bit there as well. So, yeah, that's going to be my second favourite on this album, I think, personally. So I like that, really nice, and that leaves us just with one more track, I'm afraid. So this one is called The Mountaineer. So it's got nothing to do with mountains, as we rightly found out at the beginning of our interview. Tell us a little bit more about how you sort of put the song together, please.
I probably wrote it fairly recently, like 2 or 3 years ago. I mean, most of the tracks on there I wrote almost at the same time we were doing the album, but this one goes back a bit further.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just the idea. I mean, if I repeat myself, that's okay, I guess. But
yeah, of course, no problems.
It's just the idea that it's nothing to do with actual mountaineering, but more about climbing out of dark places and putting yourself up and moving on. And it's about sort of beginning this journey back to sort of the sunny place. That's pretty much it. So the opening lines, fire up the engine, light up the long road ahead. I know where I'm going.
Fantastic. So he's got a great sat-nav now, you see, so he knows what he's doing with that. Now, before we play it, and obviously, of course, we like this album. There's quite a few good tracks on here that really do give you chills down your spine. It picks you up, it takes you down. So it's a little bit of a roller coaster of emotions in the album. But the question I want to ask yourself, if I may, please, who is your best critique when you're putting your stuff together? Who do you go to first? Is it your wife or your colleagues, or is it a customer from the kitchens, or what I'm trying to say is sometimes
I don't know about the band.
I'll leave the kitchen bit alone now, will I?
That's a different Tom. I suppose Meta, my wife, I think, but also Jason. My mate. I make everything. So I'll bounce ideas off him and say,
yes,
is it okay to? Does that sound cheesy? Or it's a really good sounding board, and he tells it like it is. Him and Meta, I'd say. They're the two.
That's a good answer, actually. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And if something's not quite right in your own mind, but everyone else is saying, well, Tom, it's really good, because I know that musicians are never completely 100% happy with the outcome. Is that the same with yourself, or are you one of these rare breeds?
Yeah. I think it used to be true. When I was doing music in the 90s, I was like constantly dissatisfied.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, actually, I'm pretty like amazed about how good it sounds. I can't quite believe you've done it. So I'm not really there at the moment. I kind of put the whole thing together, and I'd listen to myself. I think if someone says, actually, people say, "Oh, it's a good song, you should do it," and I'll do it, and then it turns out they were right, and when it's actually recorded, it does come out well. So I'll whatever. Yeah, listen, but make my own mind up as well.
Of course, absolutely.
Bit of both.
Indeed. Now, you obviously mentioned quite a few. Well, I mentioned obviously on your bio there quite a few of your bands that you're sort of inspired by. Who's your greatest songwriter for you personally? Who do you look up to?
Ooh, got to be. That's a tough one. I suppose it'll be between like Ronnie Lane, Steve Marriott, and Ray Davis.
Ray Davis.
Those two bands are probably for songwriting, I think.
Yes.
But one of my favourite artists is Bobby Womack, and he's got some great songs as well.
Oh, so, yeah, definitely.
But he's well up there.
Brilliant.
So it's hard. But I think it'd be one of those two, and John Lennon. And George Harrison. In fact, out of the Beatles songs, I think I like the Harrison songs the best as well.
Do you know, you're not the first person I've actually heard that, because everyone goes for the Lennon and McCartney, and quite rightly so. I mean, what a great combination. But there's a lot of people that actually like the Harrison as well. So, no, you're not in a small little clique there. There's quite a large amount of people that are into the Beatles that actually preferred some of Harrison's over other people. So, it's good. Yeah. Andy, have you got a question before we play this last track?
Well, before we play the last track, as it is the last one, on this album, Tom, which one is actually your favourite?
Oh, that's horrible. You can't do that to the poor man.
I know there's
got to be one there. There's got to be one.
I couldn't say, but probably Got to Find Myself Again. Because I like the way that one just swings, But Winter is Calling, I think, is out there with the smoochy ones.
Okay. So which of the tracks, the 10 tracks you got there, took you the longest to actually feel satisfied with?
Don't know.
Good answer.
I don't think anyone stood out really. They all went quite quickly and naturally. Yeah.
And
None of them were problematic.
Mate, you can see him. You can feel that in the
You are. It is like a roller coaster of emotions on the album, and I mean, obviously, I'm not sure. Is it a concept album or not?
No. There's a sort of a thread running through it.
There is a little thread, isn't there? Like I say, it's a sort of a roller coaster of emotions.
It's not set out to be like, boy meets girl. There's a breakup. They get back together. There's the end. It's not like
gets lost in a town that they've never been in and things like that. Yeah. Okay.
We could
Sorry.
write a musical one day.
We'll have to do it together. I've got some really great ideas.
We could join up the dots.
Oh my goodness me! No, Tom, that is absolutely fantastic. And just one more time, then. Obviously now. People have heard, 90% of your album. We're going to play the last one in its entirety, if that's okay with your good self.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, we'll play the Mountaineer in a second or two, and we'll play that all the way through. But before we play that one, we're going to let you go, and obviously you can actually announce it in your finest radio DJ voice in a second. You notice my voice went down then. But before we do that, just a note of where we can find you, your band, and most importantly, where we can buy this brilliant album, please.
Absolutely. Well, Phoenix Road's on Facebook. There's a website as well, which is phoenixroad.net, easy one to remember, all one word. And then you can buy the CDs from Alley Club Records. So that's easy enough to remember. I think if you just typed in Alley Club, you'll start to lead you to Alley Club Records. And you can just order it from there. It'll come through, or I think you can order it at your record shop, but I think it's probably just as easy to order it directly from Alley Club.
Indeed.
And then it's on Spotify, so you can search on Spotify Phoenix Road. There's only one Phoenix Road, so it'll come up.
That always helps.
and we're on Bandcamp, which is a really great spot as well. And where else are we? I think that's probably about it. That's it. But to buy the record, Alley Club Records, in terms of gigs, so far we've booked 1st of August to play at a festival in Great Yarmouth in the summertime, which would be really nice. And that, as it stands, is about it on the calendar at the moment. Well, then, you know what they say: small steps, giant leaps. Yeah, that's what we want to do. Yeah,
fantastic.
We're busy working on more recordings as well at the moment, which is
wow.
What we're doing.
So could there be a second album later on this year, or maybe at the beginning of next?
Yeah, there will be. It's not sure when we're going to release it yet.
No, of course not.
Probably towards the end of the year, maybe early next year.
Well, don't stay in that bunker for too long, because obviously that radiation can affect the old grey matter, you know what I mean? So I'm hoping you get tested quite often. I'm only kidding, Tom. Oh, no, it's a pleasure. And obviously extend our gratitude and say thank you to the rest of the guys of the band as well.
Thank you.
Because they're absolute stars as well. I know they're not singing as much on there as yourself, but, without them, you wouldn't have them, really, would you? Wouldn't have the songs there, really.
Jason's on it. Jason's doing backing vocals.
Oh, well, there we are. See?
Yeah.
There we go. Big up for Jason then. Way, there he is. So, in your finest radio DJ voice then, Tom Hinton of Phoenix Road, I want you to introduce the last song on this great album. And I'd just like to say, before you do that, thank you very much indeed for spending the last hour or so. We took you away from the good lady wife and the family, so we'll let you get back there now as well. But thank you very much indeed, and you do definitely deserve one of these.
Brilliant. Thanks, guys.
Thanks again, Tom, and I'll speak to you soon, fella.
Yeah, fantastic. Thanks very much for that. Appreciate it.
You take care now. In your best DJ voice, please.
Yeah, so this is The Mountaineer by Phoenix Road.
It is a great album. Like I said, it's a roller coaster of emotions on that.
Yeah.
But finishing off, I think, with a spectacular song there. The title of the album, The Mountaineer, And apparently it's got nothing to do with mountains.
Nothing to do.
I love musicians. I really do. Anyway, thank you very much for an extended, us, really, you and I, here on Target Radio for the evening of Monday, the 20th of January. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. Thank you very much again for Tom Hinton for spending the best part of an hour of his evenings tonight and enduring us, really, and reviewing his album. I think it was well worth it.
Absolutely.
And all really it leaves us to say is good night, and we'll see you all again next week. We're not going to tell you who's on the show next week because it is, is it our last one?
It will be for a little while.
Yeah, it will. We're going to take a short, actually we're going to take a longish break because we've got quite a lot of things doing in the background there, so we're going to take a well-deserved earned rest. But this show will be available again for those that have missed it at the end of the week. We're also going to make a podcast for the deserving ear roll, and we'll cut most of the music out, unfortunately, because on podcasts we don't really have music on it, and that will also be available by the end of this week. See, I'm busy. I do a lot.
I know.
Okay, I'm going to bed now.
Okay,
but I'm going to say goodnight. Thank you very much indeed for joining us here at Target Radio, and we'll see you next week for a very special show. It's our last one for a while, but we'll tell you all about what's going on in the future weeks, and obviously we're going to re-release all of the podcasts and play them on a Monday evening for your ears and your pleasure. So thank you very much, and we'll see you next week. All I'm going to say is, you've got to say goodbye, Andy.
Goodbye, Andy.